Tuesday night Krug show, and look who's in the house. The great Raj Melwani, the czar of all that is RSF 49ers. A lot to talk about with the draft approaching. Hot new rumor. Could the Niners go running back in the second round? Really? Well, we'll talk about it. We got a lot to get to. Right now, the Krug show, Tuesday night. Giants with the 4-0 lead, but watch out, the bullpen, the bullpen. Beware of the Ides of the bullpen. Let's go. Off and running Tuesday night on the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. Soon to open in Petaluma. Thank you, Pig and a Pickle, for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Man, Prize Picks is now on board with the Krug Show. We got a lot of sponsors that we'll tell you about. Prize Picks. But guess who's in the house? The great Raj. Raj, good to see you. It's always great to see you. The fans are fired up. You got the Dre Greenlaw shirt going on. Give it up for Raj Melwan.
Thank you. I like the intro.
You like the intro, don't you?
I do. I like it.
No, seriously, I think that might be a good alarm clock idea. Like, welcome to the day, Larry Kreuger. And then, wait a second. Thank you. I mean, who doesn't want?
That would wake me up. I don't think it would wake me up.
That wouldn't wake you up?
No.
Welcome to the day, Raj Melwani.
It wouldn't wake me up.
No, that wouldn't wake you up. We got a lot to post.
No, you know what wakes me up?
Yes.
Like sound of a phone. Like if someone's texting. So I put my phone on D&D, but if I don't and I hear a text, I'll wake up. I hate it.
Here's the reality for Raj. It's 8 a.m. Coach Yak has already posted 19 times. Coach Yak has already posted 19 times.
Yeah, dude, 8 a.m. The man's already 20 posts deep on the day. I'm driving to work. This man's crazy.
You're living in the wrong coast, man. You got to move to Europe and just start beating him.
Dude, 8 a.m. West Coast time. This man's already posted like a 24-hour amount of. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking wild.
Coach Yak. We love Coach Yak. Coach Yak and I, we had it out. We had a nice little conversation the other day. We talked it out.
Good. Good.
We're good. We're big backers of his channel, of what he does, and I think he's a good dude. So,
yeah,
Coach Yak,
I'm glad you did, because there was a couple weeks ago, Larry.
I know. Things were hot. Things get hot around the Krug show sometimes. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I kind of let it. I kind of talk a lot of S. And I'm probably the reason that all the bad stuff happens. Whatever bad stuff that comes about, it's probably me. It's probably me
on you now.
On myself.
If anything wrong goes in, if anything bad happens in my life next couple of weeks, I'm just gonna blame it on you, Larry.
Yeah, exactly. Like if all of a sudden there's a hot alarm clock that the nation is buying up in droves, and it's, hey, wake up, everybody. And that becomes like a huge hit. And it's like, hey, did you get the applause clock? And if you steal that and somehow monetize, that would be bitter. That wouldn't be good. That would not be good.
Jack might do it.
Don't put it past anybody to come up with a brilliant idea.
I know.
All right, let's talk a little Niners. We are in the calm before the storm. Heck, who are we kidding? The Niners thing is never calm. There's always something percolating. It's never nothing. It's never like literally nothing. Maybe I'll ask you, because you do this for a living. What would you say is the slowest Niner news day of the year? You can have one day where you say, you know what? I could even take that day off probably.
Oh, man. There's been a few right now, but I feel like there's still kind of, because people are doing like some draft stories, honestly, like middle of June. Okay, after training camp, after like OTAs, after all that kind of phase 1, phase 2, after all like the off-season programs before training camp starts in July, literally like middle of June, like June 17th. There's literally nothing going on. There's nothing in the NFL. And content like that's really when it's like the dog days of content.
That
It's
is
like,
so true. That is so true. That it's after mini camp, after the draft, after OTAs,
yeah.
the NFL shuts it down
Mhm.
until training camp for about a month. And that's where you really that's like I'll be traveling. I'm going to do some traveling myself.
Yeah, we're gonna do some stuff. Well, my daughter's graduating high school in
Oh,
June.
congrats.
So I mean, I gotta
Big.
take her out and do a lot of cool stuff. I can't believe it, dude. I mean, you've already had two kids graduate high school, but I can't believe
Three.
it. Three.
Three graduated high school. I got almost a fourth on the way of graduating high school.
No, it's crazy, dude. I
No.
literally kept 2 more months. She's like, she told me, she goes, I got 7 more Mondays and I'm done. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
You know what you say? You push back and you say, you know what? Someday you're going to look back and wish that you could relive one of those days. You should just really
I told her something like
really
that.
appreciate it.
She was like,
no way, Dad.
No way. She's like, no, I cannot wait to be done.
I know. That's okay. That's all right. That's the beauty. We all have our own perspective. She has hers, you have yours. That's the beauty of it. I want to share the screen as we jump into the first topic. And that is the 49ers are showing interest, according to Tim Kawakami, according to Matt Barrows, maybe on Tim Kawakami's channel, maybe.
No, so they do a podcast, the Plus Minus podcast, and that was.
Oh, gotcha. And which is the plus? Which one's the minus? Which one's the plus?
It depends on who you like more, I guess.
Okay, I guess. But plus, people love that plus minus. It's original. The 49ers have their eyes on Arkansas running back Mike Washington Jr. And the quote from Barrows here, and Barrows is, I'll take what he says to the bank. I heard that they're doing a lot of work on Mike Washington, who might be the third best running back in the draft. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, the 49ers are, nothing if not, they're sneaky. I mean, they'll throw you off. We thought they had a veteran kicker. No. They had Jake Moody on a third round pick. They'll mix it up on you. I'm not always saying that it works even, but they'll mix it up. If they go, what would you say if they go Mike Washington? That would mean that he would probably be a round 2 guy. A round 2 guy in Mike Washington. Now, I like this guy. I centered on this guy really early. He's a transfer. The only downside to me is that he does fumble a little bit. He's got 10 career fumbles over a couple different stops in college, but he is awesome. I love watching this guy. He's a slasher, and he's big, and he's fast, and he's got real ability. He really stood out to me. I saw him early in the year, and I thought, wow, look at this guy. Really like Mike Washington quite a bit. What would you think, though, Raj, if they went running back in round 2? Is it a statement that, for the people that were like, Christian hasn't lost a step? Is it maybe the Niners saying that Christian has lost a step and they need another more dynamic guy? This would be a major investment in the second round in a running back. That would, considering you have Jordan James and Christian McCaffrey, Raj, that would be a surprise, would it not?
That definitely be a surprise, because I think the reaction would every Niner fan have, would be surprise, shock, because
horror?
Maybe horror, because everybody's sitting here saying offensive line, defensive line, maybe wide receiver. Normally the Niners get a running back in round 3. They don't have that third round pick because they got Osa. The Niners could get an undrafted running back. Look, I don't doubt Mike Washington's good, but to spend a second round pick this year when you have 6 picks on a running back is crazy. Now, I know they're saying that they want to reduce the wear and tear on Christian McCaffrey, but this is not it. They got Jordan James, that basically sends a bad message to Jordan James and Isaac Correndo that they're not good enough to be that second back. So,
well, I was looking at it this way. You can be okay.
I'm gonna get some water real quick.
Get some water. Water. In fact, I'll take a pull of water for you.
Be right back.
As we're sitting here. The point I was going to make, and I'm going to show Raj some of this footage of Washington, is that, the NFL is very much a copycat league. And they're going back to a lot of the run game. They're seeing a lot of the run game. And the one thing that, the Seattle just won the Super Bowl running a very athletic, fast, dynamic running back in Kenneth Walker. And then Walker just got paid. And what is Walker? Walker's speedy and elusive. And Mike Washington has a lot of those same traits. I'm going to share the screen and let people see what Washington looks like. I really did like this player quite a bit in the early part of the year, and he transferred from somewhere. I think like New Mexico, maybe, or New Mexico State. But there's a lot to like. I mean, you're talking about a very, very talented running back who has got size and speed. And he kind of it's as far as Kenneth Walker just rumbled to the Super Bowl with a lot of speed. But I really do like him. He's a good running back. He's got good size. But you're talking about if you took him, he would be in the second round.
Yeah, I don't think they should draft a second round running back, because again, Niner fans they'd let John Lynch know real quick. I mean, I get it. He's a good player. I know what they said. They need they like Jordan James. I feel like he's going to be that second guy, and it's a waste of a pick. If you take a running back second round, I think it's a waste of pick. I don't think it's any slight to Christian McCaffrey. It's what they said this offseason is they want to limit the wear and tear on him. And in order to do that, you get a dog, in the draft as running back. But I don't think Kyle's going to trust anybody like he does Christian McCaffrey. How much carries that man gets, the amount of work he does. He trains so hard in the offseason. The way he is, set up for this offense, he's going to be a guy that's going to advocate for himself. Christian's like, you're not taking me out, especially for a rookie. I don't see it. Like, I'm sure they're looking at him, doing their due diligence. And if he slides in the draft, like maybe if he does get to the fourth round, it's automatic draft. But
4.33 speed.
I don't think the Niners are taking a running back in the second round. I'm sure they're going to look into it. But I think they'll get an undrafted guy like they always do. They've drafted or they've had a lot of undrafted running backs that have done pretty well for them over the last couple of years. So I think that's the route they go. But I
don't know about Guerendo. As far as messages to Guerendo, I mean, I don't know, man. I think they've already kind of sent a message to Guerendo.
Yeah, I think so. But
the other
we'll
thing see.
Guerendo, he couldn't stay healthy. So that was why they had to get another running back, Jordan James, because they were worried about health, and that's the other thing with this team.
James didn't exactly light it up either.
Well, he didn't really get. He got hurt last year after he was good in training camp. Then he did get hurt. So I feel like the Niners are just.
He was okay in training camp. I thought he caught the ball well in training camp, Raj. I don't know that there was anything like really great. I mean, you know me, dude. I'll stay with what I saw. I thought Corey Kiner looked better than James in training camp.
Oh yeah, we were high on. I remember last year during our training camp live.
Corey Kiner.
I think we talked more about Corey Kiner than probably most of the running backs.
Yeah, no, I really like Kiner. I thought he had great contact balance, and he's still. Yeah, I think he's in Arizona or Minnesota. He's going somewhere this summer, and watch out for him. I don't think either of these guys are stars, but the one thing about Jordan James, though, he does have good receiving skills. But yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe they're trying to send a message to Jordan James and Isaac Guerendo that, hey, you know what? We're a running football. I mean, I will say this: they're a running football team, and if you're not going to have Robinson, you had Robinson because you didn't trust those guys, and now it looks like you may be after a running back because once again you don't trust those guys. So we shall see. But that one was interesting to hear them Barrow say Mike Washington. Wow. I mean, that would the Niners always do come up with a surprise or two, but that would be a major surprise.
They do. They always have like a guy that they draft that you're like, I had no clue. You didn't see it coming. So that definitely would be a surprise later. Running back in the second round, fans would be that would be a very volatile day too.
Well, and then there's the Trent Williams to Kansas City talk.
Yeah, I heard that.
Grant Cohn asked me about this earlier today. There's not going to be any OTAs for Trent. People are like, Trent never goes to OTAs. They're like, no, that's not true at all. He went to OTAs last year.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't – to me, there's a big difference between, you're not going to go to OTAs and you're not going to participate. I mean, to me, you should always go. I mean, you're on the team. They're paying you $20 million. What else you got going on? You know, I mean, seriously, I really need to know at this point. If you're not going to be there, I really need to know what else you got going on. And maybe you got something great going on. Maybe you got a baby shower. Maybe you got a birth in the family. Maybe you got somebody who's needs help and it's a priority. But unless there's some kind of a family emergency, you're paying this cat $20 million. I don't care if he puts on a pad or not, but he should be there standing around. That's how I look at it. So I don't like the fact that no OTAs for Trent. That's not a good thing. Yeah. And now we keep hearing these rumors about Kansas City wants him. Last time we heard from Lynch on Trent, it was like we're on the doorstep of something good. It seemed like either it's a big doorstep or maybe things went wrong. I don't know. Maybe that's a really big doorstep. We're just not quite there. What's going on with Trent Williams? Is it a big doorstep?
It's a gigantic doorstep. He said he was.
And it's a freaking 17-mile doorstep.
I mean, that's crazy. It must be like the doorstep the size of Texas or something. But he said it was on the precipice. They're on the precipice of signing a deal, and then there's reports.
I got to use precipice more.
That's a good word.
Don't you feel like Raj and the Raj and Krug Tuesday night stream is on the precipice of, I don't know, but we got to be on the precipice of something.
We got to be on the precipice of something. That's a good word.
It's a good word. It sounds like you're, and not only that, it sounds like money. It sounds like you're connected to something. You're not just making moves. It sounds like there's backing. Like you've got financial. I'm on the precipice. It does sound like I've got deep financial backing.
Yeah, no. When you say precipice, like when he said that, I was like, oh, there. I was getting ready to post the breaking news the next day. Like I was like, oh shit, they're on the precipice. That's like literally breaking news is about to be there.
That's like a Larry Kreuger follow up. Does that mean, John, that you could say it's imminent?
Yeah.
And then drop one of those, and then once you follow up precipice with imminent, But what's going to go on here? Is this guy coming back? Is he moving on? Are they going to trade him? I got to be honest. I know it's Trent Williams and he's great and this and that. And it's like, it's always a no-brainer to bring him back. But I guess I'm starting to wonder if that's the truth. Is it always a no-brainer to bring him back? Or is there a scenario that it makes sense to just be like, you know what? He's 38. It's time to find the next guy. Let's go find the next guy. Or is that like, oh my God, that's heresy. Don't move away from Trent Williams. Trent Williams is whatever Trent wants. I mean, are we still in the whatever Trent wants mode, or could the Niners actually move Trent Williams to Kansas City on draft day?
I think both can be true at this point in the season. It's also, again, we talked about this earlier. It's off season. There's not a lot of like real content out there. So it's going to be a lot of these stories. It's going to be a lot of like, I wouldn't say guessing, but a lot of like putting the pieces together kind of stories. Like, you got people that were at the combine, you have people that were at the meetings, and they were, in Arizona, and they've been to all these different events in the off season. So they're trying to like gel the pieces together. Like, I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs have said, yeah, we want Trent Williams. Of course they would. So they're saying, hey, if Trent doesn't figure out a deal, maybe we'll try to trade for him. Like, I'm sure that's the case. It is the draft. As you get closer to the draft, and maybe, teams are calling, hey, are you really on the precipice of signing Trent Williams? And if John Lynch is like, I don't know, where the precipice is not as close as we thought, what do you guys have to offer for us? I'm sure they're going to do due diligence. And there's a lot of reports, like Peter Kreuger today. He says, whether they trade or not, I think they're going to get an offensive tackle, right? He says the guy from Utah.
What's saying that too? Is that Kreuger repeating Wagner? Because Wagner wrote that, and then Kreuger said that. Or I don't know which came first. Did Wagner come first, or the egg? Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I'm not sure who's
Kreuger first. Is Kreuger copying Wagner, or is Wagner copying Kreuger?
I don't even think they're copying each other. Maybe it's like the same information they have.
Same info.
Because Kreuger, his mock draft today that he released was based off the intel and the things that he's heard around the news. So I'm sure he heard from Nick Wagner, who dropped that news, and maybe he's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I'm going to do a mock draft because Nick Wagner, who's uber connected to the Niners, he works for ESPN, says we're going to get an offensive tackle for the Niners, and that's probably how he did it. Because again, his mock draft wasn't just guessing or hearsay; it was what he's heard through the grapevine. So again, this is the type of the season people are going to be putting pieces together of the puzzle, and maybe they do want to get an offensive tackle, regardless if they're going to trade Trent or not. They want to have that insurance, and I feel like it is a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they will eventually get something done, and it's going to be like, we do love Trent. I agree with what you said about the whole like missing training camp, missing OTA. Like, let's stop with that. He does need to show up. He's had a history of injuries over the last couple of years. We want to make sure he comes in fully ready on, the first day of the season when they're playing in Australia. I want to make sure Trent Williams is Trent Williams. I want to make sure he's like ready to roll. I don't need this half-assed Trent Williams. Look, I know you've been in the league a long time, and I respect the hell out of you. You're one of the greatest players of all time that I've watched. But be ready. Let's stop the kidding games. Let's be ready.
Yeah. I are you with us or are you not? Are you playing or are you not? Exceptions have been made for people that produce at really high levels forever, and that's all, and it's nothing new, and people always make exceptions for people that produce at absurd levels, and he produces at a really high level at a really vitally important position, and I get it. I don't resent it or anything, and his teammates don't resent it. They've got one locker, he's got three. I don't think they don't resent that. I'm not even joking. I mean, it doesn't.
No, I've seen it. I've seen the post.
I mean, he's got. They've got a locker. He's got a neighborhood.
That's actually crazy. Like, he's got a whole section.
He's got like Boardwalk and Park Place. He's got like the two. Like that, the really nice area. He's not by Baltic and all those. Vermont. He's letting those guys. He's.
That's great. Like, I've seen that. I remember like NBC Sports posted it, and like I reposted the video, and like, but like seeing it must be wild. Like, you walk in, and this man has like the largest space. Like that's got to be crazy.
I know. It's, but he's Trent, and he's really great. So, I mean, I guess my guess is they're going to stay with Trent. And then if you stay with Trent, then you got to make sure that if you're going to add to your offensive line, it's a guard, because otherwise, if you take a tackle, you take a right tackle, like the kid from Clemson, and Trent's there, and you've got McKivitz at right tackle. You're not going to play that right tackle at left guard. And if you are, he's probably not going to be very good. A rookie left guard who just played his entire career at right tackle in the ACC. So I think it's going to, I actually think if the Niners go offensive line, it's going to be a Chase Basantis. It's going to be like somebody who's a plug and play guard. Basantis played left guard in College Station for the Aggies. He's a mauler in the run game. He's violent with his hands. You could take him right out of the SEC, plug him right in at left guard, and he would be a nice offensive lineman. So I could see that. It's a little low end, in my opinion, going Chase Basantis. I'd rather see them do something different, like what this guy's like Luca Libre says Kilgore. I like Jalen Kilgore, the safety from South Carolina. I think that's a great one right there. All right. Let's tell people that, of course, the Kreuger Show is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. That's right. Thank you, Prize Picks. The Kreuger Show is presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or even game outcomes and build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA when you play $5. You'll get $50 in lineups instantly. So let's do our little Prize Picks thing right here. And I will move the screen a little bit, and we'll make this happen here. Give me just a second for the screen. Here we go. Prize Picks. There we go. Boom. All right. And then we will move me and Raj over here. Hey, we're making stuff happen.
Wow,
anyway,
it's the new layout.
The new layout. and we are going to do some prize picks estimates on the Niners.
Oh.
Ooh, this is some good stuff here too. And really good stuff. So anyway, we are partnered with Prize Picks. Let's jump into our Prize Picks lineup for today. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app, and the reason I like it, it's really simple. You're just picking more or less on player stats or even game outcomes or futures like we're going to do today. And you build your lineup and you're in. No complicated stuff, just what you think is going to happen, what you're predicting is going to happen in the future, whether it be in the games or stats. Use code HMA, play $5 and get $50 in lineups instantly. The link is in the description. All right, let's get into it right here. Raj, what do you think on Brock Purdy on some of these stats? We're season passing yards, Brock Purdy. We've got season passing touchdowns, Brock Purdy, 25.5. Season rushing touchdowns, Brock Purdy, 2.5. I like more on that.
So this is the way. I don't know how many. I hope he doesn't get hurt, but he should get more than 3,900 passing yards. But I think the lock is 2.5 rushing touchdowns. That's a lock to me.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more than 2.5.
Yeah, that's a lock.
So yeah, we're going more there. Okay, yeah. And then what about CMC? 8.5 rushing touchdowns, 974.5 rush yards, 599 receiving yards. Does he go for 1,000 yards rushing?
They want to drop the wear. They want to reduce the wear and tear. So to me, if I'm doing this future projection, I'm not going to worry about the yards. I'm looking right here. The biggest lock, 4.5 season receiving touchdown. That's a lock to me. He's going to get. I think that's more.
Yeah, I like that too. All right, let's tackle a little Mike Evans here. Okay, there's even Ricky Pearsall stats.
We ain't touching Ricky Pearsall stats.
I mean, seriously, what would happen there? All right, Mike Evans, 924.5 receiving yards, 6.5 receiving touchdowns. I like 6.5 receiving touchdowns more.
I like that. I think he'll be a red zone target.
Yes.
Because I mean,
that's going to justify his whole. Plus, they don't really have the bodies anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, you lost Jennings; he was your red zone kind of guy, and you're basically taking over those touchdowns. I'd go more with the 6.5 touchdowns.
Okay, so there we go.
Did they pay me my money already? Even the season has a start. I think that's a winner.
We got to pick one from 2 different teams, so we got to pick another one as well. Let's see.
Another team.
We'll go back. Let's see. Maybe there's another team we can make. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, why don't we go Puka Nacua?
Puka.
We'll go Puka.
Trending in the wrong direction lately, but okay.
Yes. Why don't we go Puka less than 1,299.5 receiving yards?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're cooking. Okay. So now we go down here. Should we go 20 or should we go 10? Yeah, let's go 20. Let's roll
20
the dice.
to win 200, baby.
Yeah, let's do it. We will submit the lineup. It's going through its stuff. Successfully submitted the lineup.
Let's go. Money in the
bank.
We
are in. We are absolutely in. Should we view?
So we got to wait a whole season to
we're gonna have to wait on this one. But we got a $20 ticket that's going to pay $200. Purdy, all he needs is 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. You could get that in week 1.
He did it. He did 5 or he had 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks, 1 week.
So I mean, that one's a total lock.
That's easy.
McCaffrey 4.5 receiving touchdowns is probably going to be a little bit more dicey, right?
I'll take 10 games.
How many did he have last year? What do you think he had?
Let me see.
8 or 9?
Let me see.
And then Evans, I think, is a great play at over 6.5 touchdowns because I think he's going to be featured, and he's got ball skills, and he's got pride. They're going to go to him. They're going to try to force the ball to Evans, I would say, quite often.
Last year, CMC had 7 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, so 4.5 basically needs a little bit over half. I like it. So thank you, Prize Picks, for being.
I don't know, man. The Puka one's a little nerve-wracking to me. I don't think
Think
he's
so?
gonna get suspended, but he's going through. He's in rehab. He was biting women. He was Buka's doing a lot this offseason, man. He's doing
I
stuff.
mean, I ain't gonna judge. I ain't gonna
I
judge.
like Buka, man. The
I like
guy's
Puka. I
crazy.
like Puka. Isn't he? He's Fred's little buddy or
Good
something like that.
boy, because they're BYU guys.
Right. It's a great commercial.
Oh man.
He's a very likable guy. Plus, I'm from the Bay, and the fact that he knew all the Too Short words at the NFL honors.
Yeah, that was pretty
As
cool.
far as I'm concerned, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I mean, because Too Short's old school at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. I mean, that's too short for a guy his age to know the words to to a bunch of Too Short rhymes. That makes me like Puka. That makes me like Puka.
No, I mean, it's just a little bit. It was probably. I'm not even gonna say nothing. He did what he did. He's in rehab. He's trying to clean himself up. I'm sure his agent or someone's like, "Yo, you want to get the money? You're going down the Antonio Brown route. Let's stay away from that route.
Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. Because if you get in trouble, or I should say,
but he also said some bad, like, again, all these are allegedly did some, like, he said some like anti-Semitic stuff, so that's the stuff I feel like he needs to clean. He can't be saying that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, come on. Yeah. I mean, seriously, he's going to derail his entire, massive off-field portfolio, and obviously it's hate speech. Once again, thanks to Habas Law for sponsoring the Krug Show. 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. Habas Law doing amazing things in the community, and I do want to say thank you to Habas Law because they are doing some great stuff, and we're really, really excited to partner with Habas Law. They're doing a bunch of really cool things, and so thank you, Habas Law, for all the good things that you're doing in the community. Really love some of the things that they're doing. I mean, and take animal adoptions and that kind of stuff is just really, really good. And a behind the scenes moment with Habas Law, we asked about their new billboards. Do you smile or not? And then it got real. Omar Habas said, we meet people in the hardest moments of their lives. It's on us to restore dignity and a financial future. And we're talking about traumatic brain injuries, loss of a limb, spinal cord damage, a life that's changed in seconds. When everything's on the line, you need to choose the team that understands that, and that's Habas Law. They fight to make it right. So visit habaslaw.com. Omar Habas is a California licensed attorney. Offices are in Northern California, including San Jose. And as I always say, past results do not guarantee future outcomes, but Habas Law, habaslaw.com, HABBAS law.com. And thanks to Habas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, let's get to a couple other topics that I want to get to. I want to share the screen and show the Matt Barrows article. And Maddie, I hope Maddie doesn't get upset about this because this is obviously behind a paywall. Now I'm kind of wondering, should I show this or not? Maybe I shouldn't. Well, what the hell? It's been out for a while.
Just show it.
I'll show it. What the heck? Show it! All right, here we go. Here it is. Maddie has got his
paywall in 2026, Larry.
What's that?
A paywall in 2026 is crazy. I
know, but I pay. Maybe that's why I can share because I pay. But now
you have every right. You've paid the right to show the content. You've paid it.
I know, but I do. This kind of maybe could take other people, and now they don't pay. But whatever. Here you go. Which 49er draft scenario is best? And he's got this article up, and I love Matty. He does great stuff, and he's got this is basically if you just took the first three Niner draft choices, which is their first round pick, their second round pick, 58, and then their first pick in the fourth round.
Yeah.
Which I think is like 120 something, 127 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's got 6 different scenarios. The first scenario is Cassius Howell in round 1, Jeremy Bernard, the receiver, in round 2, and the Penn State left tackle Drew Shelton in round 3 or in round 4. Scenario B is Denzel Boston in round 1 with the Northwestern offensive tackle Caleb Tiernan in round 2 and Romello Height from Texas Tech, the kind of spindly, long-armed edge rusher, very light in round 4. The third scenario is Blake Miller, the Clemson offensive tackle, Malachi Lawrence, the defensive end in round 2, and Jacoby Lane in round 4, which is kind of an exciting round 4 pick considering Lane is big and got big hands. They say he's a pain in the ass, but he's a great talent. The fourth scenario is Casey Concepcion, Jayshawn Barham, and Brian Parker the second. I like all three of those guys. In a way, I kind of feel like that might be the best three prospects, but Concepcion's lack of ball skills bother me a little bit. The scenario 5 is Caleb Lomu, Ted Hurst, Trey Moore. I really don't like Trey Moore. I love Ted Hurst, and I'm not a big fan of going Utah offensive lineman. I'm just not in the first round. I think Caleb Lomu to me seems like an underpowered guard. He's a solid offensive lineman, but I don't think you're winning championships because of Caleb Lomu.
I think it would be an underwhelming pick if they go.
It would be,
Caleb Lomu. Yeah.
And then the last scenario, the sixth scenario, Omar Cooper, Jennings Dunker, Joshua Josephs. I think this is a really good option as well.
If I had to choose one, I'm taking option F, scenario F.
See, Cooper, now you're Dunker. Picking it because of Cooper, probably. I would pick it because
I'm picking it because of Jennings Dunker. You get a guard.
Like
We've been sitting here saying you need that left. There you go. You just got a starter.
Yeah, I love Jennings Dunker. If you go look at the Bob McGinn scouting reports, on the anonymous scouting reports, the scouts love Jennings Dunker. And yes, he played right tackle at Iowa, but he's really well coached, and I think he could easily play left guard. In fact, I think he's a better guard. He's a 6'5", 320-pound guard. He was a high school wrestler. I think this is one of the best picks right there. Is in fact, this right here would, because Omar Cooper is absolutely zero chance is a bust. He's going to be a solid NFL receiver as sure as I'm sitting here. I mean, he's just a solid NFL receiver, but he's a little low end for me. Like, I don't like that low end of a pick. But Dunker in round 2, I love it. And Joshua Josephs is a edge rusher from Tennessee who's got long arms and can really, he's undersized, but he's a situational edge rusher, and he's got a lot of juice as a rusher. So and he's got good length. So to me, that scenario F is pretty damn good. I also like scenario A because you're getting the SEC Defensive Player of the Year in Cassius Howell. You're getting what I think is kind of like almost like an Anquan Bolden type receiver in Jeremy Bernard, who's a real playmaker. And then the Penn State left tackle, who's got great size, great arm length. It's probably going to be a good. That's probably going to be a good pick there over time. I don't care. Drew Shelton is not on my list of guys like I'm really excited about, but Cassius Howell, Jeremy Bernard, I am very excited about. So Cassius, I agree with you. If I could go Cassius Howell, Jennings Dunker, Jeremy Bernard in the third round.
Then
if I could put in Jeremy Bernard for Omar Cooper Jr., I would do it because I like, or even Ted Hurst. I like Ted Hurst and Chris Bell and Jeremy Bernard more. I think there's more upside than Omar Cooper. Yeah. But I will say this: I've been pushing the Niners verbally to try to not go for a bust, go for a safer pick.
Yeah, right? I mean that's what we all want.
And Omar Cooper, it would be safe. That would be safe.
He's a safe pick, and I think at this point that's it. It's hard to see if there's like a player that's bust proof, but at the end of the day, we just the Niners just cannot have another failure, especially in the first round. It's getting dicey, man. Like the way they draft sometimes, you got a lot of bad picks over the years. Like there's been some good ones, not gonna lie, but I don't know. I feel like there's been more bad than good under this regime, and this is a big draft. Like we all know, this is a monster draft for this team, for this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I think their process is pretty good. I just think that they got a lot of different people. They got a lot of different thoughts. It's a very difficult thing to do. First of all,
it's not easy, yeah, because you got to have
easy. Here is what I came up when I looked at Barrows' stuff, and I'm like, I did a video on this earlier that you can see. Probably Kev will have it out in the next day. But here is in the video. I went through all those scenarios that Mayoko had, or that Barrows had. But then at the end of it, I go with my own, and this is my own. Kristen Miller, Georgia, in round 1. I put Mike Washington in round 2 because I kind of feel that now. I kind of feel that vibe of I like the big time running back. I like Washington. I probably wouldn't go Washington, but I was just, this is what I'm doing today. Kilgore, I really love. I don't think he would fall to round 4, so I would probably take him over Washington. Like if I was really doing this, I think I would go Kristen Miller in round 1. I would go Jalen Kilgore in round 2 because I love Jalen Kilgore from South Carolina in round 2. Covers like a corner, hits like a linebacker. He has a lot of Nick Emanwari, and I would use him the exact same way that Mike McDonald uses Nick Emanwari. I'd use him as a strong side linebacker who can run. This guy runs 4-4 flat. If you put a 4-4 flat defender on that second level, like Kilgore, I think you would have a lot of the same advantages that you see with Emanwari.
Yeah.
I love that. Fabechi Wiwu from Oklahoma is just an absolute, I think, a very, very plug and play left guard who could be their center in the future. Kieran Crawford from Auburn, the defensive end. If he falls to the 4th round, I think that's a steal. I mean, he's 260 pounds. He's really, really, really dynamic off the edge. And to me, I see kind of a longer version of D Ford. This guy's like a D Ford type, but he's a little bit longer, a little bit more athletic naturally than D Ford. And then Josh Cameron, who's a big kind of bull in a china shop, wide receiver from Baylor, who is raw, but he gets the ball in his hands. I mean, nobody wants to tackle this guy. He's just one of those receivers that's very unique. I'm not saying he's Debo. I'm not saying he's T.O., but he's like just another big receiver that has some real explosiveness to him. And if you don't tackle him like immediately, he's like becomes a real problem.
Okay.
So there you go. There's
I like the name Awiwu. That'd be fun to have him on that team.
Kristen Miller is really good. Have you seen
that guy? If you had a 1st-round pick for Niners, it's Kristen Miller.
I love Kristen Miller.
You think he's better than Martell?
You know what I see in Kristen Miller? I mean, it sounds crazy to say this, and it's almost heresy to say this. The guy is 6'4", 315 pounds, and there's no fat. I mean, he's just a rock, and he just does not give ground at all.
It's a big
and
boy.
You see this guy get doubled, and he splits it like it's nothing. He's healthy. He's huge. To me, he looks like Bryant Young.
That's a big
comp.
Comparison, yeah.
Big comp. But I mean, as far as like this guy's, every guy he goes up against, he looks like he's in better shape and he's stronger and he's got that same BY kind of, he can just throw dudes out of there. Go spend some time watching some Kristen Miller, and he's a monster inside. And I, the fact that he's going to probably be there at 27, we'll see, because the Eagles pick at 23 and they love Georgia guys. Then maybe they'll take him. But
we get another defensive tackle though. You don't think they go don't you think there's bigger need for a pass rusher edge?
I just think this guy's really special. I mean,
I get it, but
I think this guy's really special. You know what I think what's going on right now is I think the trend in the league is that you got to be able to stop the run. And, I think the Niners want to bolster their defensive front. And if my guess is they would go, probably defensive end in round 2, maybe like Derek Moore or something like that. But I would love to see them go defensive tackle, defensive end, safety, all in the first 3 picks. I mean, that would be fantastic. What do you think of safety, by the way? Matt Mayoka says the Niners could take a safety in round 1. Matt was saying the other day that he thinks the Niners could take an offensive guard pretty high in the draft, or an offensive lineman. Now he's saying that he thinks they may go for a safety, that they like Malik Mustafa, but they don't like Jair Brown and Marquis Siegel as much. And he was suggesting that they may go safety, maybe even really early. What do you think?
I love Matt, but there's a couple weeks ago he says they're not going to go early for O lineman, and then he says they are, and now it's a safety. I love Matt, but I think he knows about what's going on with the draft as everybody else. He doesn't know. So, I mean, they do need a safety because I think that's definitely been an issue on this team. Jair Brown hasn't become the guy they thought, although he has upside. He's just not consistent. Marquis Siegel, he showed some flashes. Can he take that year 2 leap? I don't know. Malik Mustafa, he was pretty good. Kind of took a step back last year, but he was coming off an injury. So 100%, you got to bolster that room. I know Richard Sherman a couple weeks ago was saying they need a veteran guy. Doesn't look like they're going to get a guy. So if you can get just a superstar safety, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking it. But I think there's bigger needs on this team. Offensive line, maybe guard, the defensive end, the pass rusher, or maybe, like you said, a run-stuffing defensive lineman over a safety. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but I just don't think there's a good enough safety to take at that 27 spot. I don't. Like, compared to what they need overall, I just don't see them. And again, next week, I'm probably Mayoko's going to say, well, they're going to go edge rusher. So I don't put a lot of.
I mean, they probably should go edge rusher. They had 20 sacks, but you know what? Dylan Thieneman, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, AJ Halsey from LSU, Bud Clark from TCU, and this kid Kilgore from South Carolina are all really good players. I mean, Bud Clark, it's like, what do the Niners really need at safety? What do you want in a safety? Do you want a hitter? Do you want a cover guy? Because like Bud Clark is 6 feet and 85 pounds. He's really skinny. He's a real thin, narrow safety, but he's a great cover guy. I mean, his coverage, if you want to put a coverage player down the field, Bud Clark, I think, is going to have the tightest coverage. But Kilgore is, I think is that thoroughly dominant guy who runs 4-4 flat. He hits like a linebacker. He covers like a corner. I think Kilgore's better than Bud Clark. I think he's so much more physical. So it's like these guys play the same position, but Bud Clark's 6 feet, 185 pounds. Jalen Kilgore's 6'1", 218 pounds or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like,
different person, different build.
Yeah, totally different build, totally different. And they do different things on the field. And if they want that coverage guy, Bud Clark might be the guy. But if I got to think that John Lynch, after watching what Eman Wari did in Seattle, says, give me some of that, and goes for Jalen Kilgore. Now, the question is, would they take him in round one? Mayoko seemed to think they would take him in round one.
I don't know.
I think he's a great great future player. I would take him. I wouldn't take him in round one.
It is a copycat league, and maybe they want to get that Emmanuel type guy. But at the end of the day, also, again, even if they take a safety, right, or just a dog, a ball hawk, whatever you want to say, at that position, I feel like it still falls flat if you don't address the defensive line, because you still need to get pressure on the quarterback. And I think that's one of the reasons their secondary or their safeties weren't playing. I mean, yes, they had some inconsistent play and just lackadaisical attacking, but just bad play overall from the safety position over the last couple of years. And you get a dog, I think it will help them. But I still think you need to address that defensive line before you address the safety. I think you need to get Bosa some help. You still got to replace Bryce Huff, right? And they haven't done that yet. So I think they're looking to the draft to make sure they get that edge rusher, pass rusher, or a defensive tackle that could rush. But that's why they got Osa Osigizua, because he's kind of like that pass rushing tackle. I think they go, defensive lineman and then maybe get a safety, but I could be completely wrong.
There's a lot of good ones. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you look at this draft: Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Reuben Bain. To start it off, and then Keldrick Falk, I think, could be there. He's really good. Cassius Howell, I think, is really, really good. Gabe Yakis from Illinois. I think Yakis might be the guy for them, just from the standpoint of he had that 1.59 10-yard split. So this guy just comes flying out of his stance. And he's 6'4", 260 with the wrestling background and great production. and a cleaner off-field resume than like a Zion Young. So Giannis, I really love. Derek Moore, I really love. But it's going to be interesting because I do think you're right. They're one of those picks, either the first pick, the second pick, or one of those fourth round picks is going to be on a defensive end. Somebody who can burn the edge and get to the passer. And I mean, you had 20 sacks. Come on. And both of your defensive ends are coming off ACLs. I mean, you can't lean on what you have right now and say, oh, yeah, we're set. No, you're not. You're not set because Bosa and Mikel, I mean, I get the sense that Mikel may not even be ready at the start of training camp. So, I think they absolutely need another rusher.
Yeah, you're right. 20 sacks in 1 year was just that was bad. They were the worst team in amount of sacks last year. Like, it was bad. I get it. Bosa was bad out of there, but still, like, it got to the point in the season, like week 16, week 17, he was still among the top 3 in sacks for this team. Like, that was depressing seeing like those numbers. I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. It was abysmal, Larry. The amount of pressure or lack of pressure they were getting.
Let's finish strong on a couple of these topics. Let's hit some quick here. Dexter Lawrence rumors to the Niners. The Niners, the Patriots, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Chicago, all connected through Bleacher Report to Dexter Lawrence and the New York Giants. Lawrence is a great defensive tackle. He's requested a trade. It seems like they've. Why would you go get another defensive tackle like Lawrence and for that much of a price and give up multiple picks when you have, if anything, you need more picks than you have?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense. They already traded for a defensive tackle. Osa, good player. And for when you see that a Bleacher Report has linked the Niners, that's just clout post engagement farming. The Niners, I don't think they're anywhere near going to get Dexter Lawrence. But I think it wasn't even like teams linked. It was like teams that are a good fit. It was like, that's what it was. It's a good fit. Yeah, of course he'd fit good at the Niners. They need to get another dog on the trenches. Of course he'd fit. Everybody would love it. But it's not going to happen. They need to get draft picks, not give them away for Dexter Lawrence, it's just not going to. But it's fun to think and dream, but it's not going to happen.
CBS Sports listed the Niners as the team that needs to trade for Myles Garrett. I mean, I'll just say this about the Myles Garrett thing, because I dug deep this week, and I called a bunch of my friends in Cleveland, and I asked lots of questions. And it's pretty obvious to me that Myles Garrett doesn't want to be in Cleveland. And I think it's obvious to NFL people that Myles Garrett doesn't want to be in Cleveland. And I'll make a prediction. I don't know if he's coming to the Niners, but I bet you anything that the Browns trade Myles Garrett and that the price for Myles Garrett is much lower than the price that Parsons got.
No way. That would be balderdash to me. The Myles Garrett he's so good. There's no way.
Two number ones and Kenny Clark is what went for Parsons. I had a guy in Cleveland tell me that he believes that there are teams around the league that know that Garrett wants out. He said that it's pretty common knowledge that as soon as the Browns passed on Schwartz for Todd Monken, that Garrett said he didn't want to be there. So we'll see. I don't know, because if Garrett's going to be moved, you would think he's going to fetch 2 1s and a 2 or something like that, maybe a player as well. But I was told that the price is going to be lower than we think, and that what the Browns really want is as much draft capital as they can possibly get in 2027.
That's absolutely. You want to get as much draft capital as you can from Myles Garrett, and I think they will.
But all in 2027.
That's fine. Whatever it takes.
So
here.
So here's the thing: would you trade your 2027, which would be next year? Would you trade next year's 1, 2, and 3?
Yes.
To the Browns.
Yes.
For Myles Garrett.
Yes. Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
You're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to probably move another pick in addition to that.
I don't care. Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa. It's not gonna ever happen. But yes, you kidding me? You probably win a Super Bowl with that defense. Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett. It's not gonna happen. Just like Dexter Lawrence isn't gonna happen because he wants more money. Myles Garrett's contract A million
You
times
think
more.
Myles Garrett's? If I had to bet, I would bet. I was watching Path to the Draft the other night. Lance Zierlein, pretty dialed in out of Houston, pretty dialed in on the NFL. He's going through his mock draft. He's at 24 for the Browns. He's like, I'm mocking them Akeem Mesidor because I don't believe Myles Garrett's going to be a Brown next year, because I think they're going to trade Myles Garrett, and I'll give them Akeem Mesidor here as his replacement. So Zerline's locked in. I mean, he's really dialed. So I think there's a chance that Myles does move.
It'd be crazy if he gets traded. I mean,
Nick Wagner does not believe trading Brandon Ayuk is a realistic option, and yet Matt Barrows is on record as saying that he believes that Ayuk and Jaden Daniels are working together on a trade that would bring him to Washington. What do you? I mean,
who do you believe?
I mean, first of all, I want to believe, I guess Barrows, because I want to believe that Ayuk could fetch something, but I also kind of believe that Barrows probably, he didn't just throw that out for no. I know Matt Barrows. He's not going to throw that out for no reason. So the fact that he believes that Jaden Daniels and Ayuk are working on some kind of a trade, it'll be interesting. It just seems like the obvious thing would be that a player that you don't want and have already stated isn't coming back would not fetch anything in a trade. But this isn't the NFL. There's contracts. There's money on the line. There's a lot of things going on here. And there may be more going on here than meets the eye to some degree, as far as there might be some incentives. There might be incentives, there may be some incentives to make that move for Ayuk to stay with his contract. And he may be willing to work with the Niners, even though it kind of plays right now like they don't like him, he doesn't like them, they're not going to work together. Something tells me that he's not going to get anywhere close to the kind of money that he's got on that contract. And thus, it behooves him to work it out, go there with that contract, and work out a restructure over rip up the contract and go hope to get something done in a new world post-surgery. So I think that Brandon Ayuk may work with the Niners. The Niners may work with Brandon Ayuk. They actually may encourage Ayuk and Daniels to broker some kind of small potatoes deal. I do find it interesting. Nick Wagner doesn't believe that trading Ayuk is realistic, but Barrows seems to believe it is. Where are you on this one, Raj?
I mean, we talked about it last week, where I feel like the Niners are just going to wait and see. If something comes up, cool. If not, I mean, they got time. They're going to wait. And I told you last week, like, it wouldn't be crazy to me if here comes training camp, Ayuk's still there, and somehow he's there, and they're say, hey, can you figure it out? If not, we'll definitely cut you. But again, that's like crazy scenario, like scenario option F. But again, I think the team's just going to wait, bide their time, post June 1st cut, maybe. And we talked about it. Would they trade him? I think we discussed this last week, where there's a lot of like cap situations, which I kind of guess I'm more on side Wagner, because he kind of understands like the cap space, and like it may not be realistic. And what kind of value does he have after all this drama? But, we'll see. Again, only time will tell with that. I know we discussed this a lot in length last week, but I still kind of feel like the Niners are just going to throw feelers out there. Draft's coming up. Let's see what happens. There's going to be a lot of teams that might be calling. And end of the day, they don't owe Brandon Ayuk anything right now. And they're going to, like he said last week, we're going to wait it out. And then he had Jed York says, I would love him back. Hey, with the Niners, you never know what's going to happen. This is the most unpredictable team. There's always juicy storylines. TMZ follows this team. Like, TMZ is looking at this team with a wide lens, like, oh man, juicy gossip with the Niners.
Always. One last one. We'll finish with this. Peter Schrager. You're familiar with Peter Schrager. He worked for the NFL Network. Now he's with ESPN. People love this guy's this guy's the son of some bigwig, and he's been kind of thrust into this thing, and he obviously never played in the NFL, and and fairly or unfairly, there have been some of his ESPN colleagues that have gone at him as like, you never played, which I kind of think is bullshit, because I mean, so yes, it's obviously he never played, but I mean, to throw that at him on a dais on TV seems really low level. And I've seen Ryan Clark do that, which makes me kind of have disdain for Ryan Clark. But I bring this up because Kreuger has had his credibility attacked multiple times. He puts out a mock draft. Today he put out his mock draft. He's trying to show with all the connections he has around the league. And so he's got a lot on the line, because a lot of people, he's trying to call himself an insider to some degree, and he's going to kind of prove it because he never played. So it is interesting because it makes me think that he's got a little bit of a higher calling as far as getting this stuff right. He, at 27, has the Niners going Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle from Utah.
Yeah.
Didn't allow any sacks in 2025. Would you be satisfied if that is ultimately the pick? Because I personally, and then the next picks, he's got Ian Acher, Colton Hood, Dylan Thieneman, Keelan Rutledge, Jadarian Price to round out round one to Seattle. But Caleb Lomu, according to Shregs, is the Niners pick. Are you going to be satisfied with Caleb Lomu? Because I would not be. I would not.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
I'd be underwhelmed. I'd be very underwhelmed with this. It doesn't move the needle for me. I love Kreuger. He's a good dude. I know a lot of people call him
believe in Kreuger. I guess.
They call him a Nepo baby. I like Kreuger. I think he's a good guy, but I feel like he did have a little, some people might call him an industry plant, but I like the guy. But I don't think this is the right call. I think Niner fans would be a little underwhelmed if they make this. Now, if they trade Trent Williams, then I think it's a good pick, because then you get a left tackle. You're like, okay. But if you have Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz, and then you have Lomu, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, no, seriously.
But I mean, then it would be a pick for the future. But
I don't mind going offensive line. I just would rather, if you're going to go offensive line, I'd rather either, if you're going to go for that idea of the future tackle that's a guard now, I'd rather go with like a big, gigantic Caden Proctor type guy than go with Caleb Lomu. I'd rather have that big, gigantic guard who you think might be able to play tackle. And at worst, he's going to be a gigantic guard, and that's not a terrible thing.
I agree.
But Lomu,
it's just underwhelming.
It's underwhelming. It's, like, it's more of like, it's like effective.
Yeah, he's cool. He's good. He's solid. Solid.
But yeah, I don't think you're winning the Super Bowl with Lomu.
No, that doesn't move the needle for me, Larry.
No. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Let's hit our supers, and we'll bolt for the door. Thank you to everybody who donates. We've got 4 supers here. We got this one from Eric Pierce. Where did Raj get that effing dope Dre Greenlaw shirt? I have that same shirt, don't I?
Yeah, we got it from one of my buddies that unfortunately passed away. He used to make these customized shirts, and he used to always, give me the merch before it would sell on his website. And he used to make really awesome shirts, right? I have like a Trent Williams one, a Brock Purdy.
Show that one, man. That's a great one.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they don't make it. You can't get this one anymore. So one of a kind. Right. Because my friend that used to have the clothing brand, he passed away last year. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, but it's a great shirt. It's a good
shirt, man.
We got this one, JC New York 49er. Kyle Shanahan, please manage vets usage to get Super Bowl ring number 6. We need our old dogs fresh for a run. Need a rule up 3 scores in the second half. CMC, Dre, and Kittle coming off the field. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could say that, but teams come back from a 3. Imagine you pull your starters, and then a team comes back. I mean, Kyle Shanahan has blown 28-3 lead. But I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying. If you're up big, just rest the damn starters in the fourth quarter. I agree.
Seriously. Sup, Raj, Larry, pray y'all have best in 2026 and love y'all. Will Cassius Howell be a fit Niners wide 9 despite he has 30-inch arms unless Lawrence, he's talking about maybe Malachi Lawrence. First of all, if you can rush the passer in the SEC, you can do it in the NFL.
Yeah.
This guy's the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Do not overthink this. I mean, seriously. I was listening to the Ross Tucker podcast the other day. Mm-hmm. Ross Tucker's a friend of mine.
He's a good dude.
He's 6'4", former offensive lineman. He said on the podcast that he has 31-inch arms. He's got short arms. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I am 6'2".
Wow.
Okay. Never played in the NFL. And I have 35-inch arms.
Jesus.
And I got them measured the way they measure the NFL guys.
Yeah.
So I have 35-inch arms. And Ross Tucker played in the NFL. He has 31-inch arms. The arm length means something. Believe me. I'll tell you, there are positions it means a lot. Offensive tackle, it means a lot. You're not going to have a 31-inch offensive tackle. It's the whole geometry of the position as the guy's trying to go around the edge. You got to be able to keep him at the end of your arm. You need 35-inch arms, 36-inch arms really is an advantage. So arm length, but if you're a badass like Reuben Bain, if you're one of those guys that are just a crazy rusher, like Cassius Howell, go watch these guys. They create space in other ways besides just the use of the arm. So I love Cassius Howell. I think he's big time.
He's a good player. I wouldn't be mad with that.
No. We got this one. JC New York. F it. Go for Garrett. Regime has 2-3 years left. Why not?
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Go for Garrett. Go for Garrett.
T 1942. Good show, fellas. 100. Thank you. 100. Thank you, T.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for us. We're going to bolt for the door on that call. Raj, the grind never stops. The draft is just around the corner. We should, I actually, before I get out of here, thank you to Nevada Chevrolet, family-owned dealership, Bay Area EV headquarters, over $3 million in used cars inventory, rated top car dealership by Carfax. When I buy a Chevrolet, I go to Nevada Chevrolet. Go see David, the top sales guy there, and he will give you a screaming deal. Also, thank you to Alomar Marina, voted best lunch spot in Sacramento, alomarmarina.net on the web. Also, thank you to Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. The great Anthony Catanias at 831-521-5264. And thanks to, of course, Raj and all of you guys. Raj, I'll give you the final word as we bolt for the door. The draft is a couple weeks away. And your final word before we bolt.
Don't get Cameron Lamu. Don't do it. Don't do
Caleb
it.
Lomu.
Caleb Lomu.
No.
Don't get Caleb Lomu. Please don't.
No Lomu.
No Lomu.
Wait a second. I think it might. We have spoken. we have officially spoken. No Lomu.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you